In this video, we're gonna look at a new flash that is probably my new favorite flash for macro photography. But before we jump into this video, I just want to mention that right now, until the end of November, you get 25% off my macro photography handbook with everything I know about macro photography in an ebook, 120-page PDF. I also have the macro editing handbook, which is a lot cheaper, 25% off that one too. I'm doing this because I recently did a 24-hour sale and a lot of people missed that. Now I'm giving everyone the chance until the end of November. And I will not do any more sales or discounts until next November. So now you have the chance. So I try to review every flash that I find interesting and that could be helpful in macro photography. And if you want the most powerful flash possible with the best stamina, then yeah, you should buy something like the Godox V680 Mark III. If you want something a little bit smaller, you could go for the V480, which is also a great flash. It's still pretty big though. And then we have the V350, which for a long time was my favorite flash for macro photography. A lot smaller, very nice compact form factor. And all of these three are great for focus stacking, for deep focus stacks. But if you don't do like a lot of very deep focus stacks, if you just want a basic flash that is as compact as humanly possible, you could look into the Godox iT30 Pro, which I've made a video about very recently and which I liked a lot. And this flash is extremely compact, but still like good enough for macro photography, at least if you're not doing any deep stacks. Recently though, Viltrox released their new Spark Z3 flash, which is almost as compact as the Godox iT30, but more powerful, supposedly. And I'm super pumped about this because while I love the Godox iT30, it does give a few black frames here and there, so you have to be a little bit patient with that flash. And that is basically the only downside, I think, of the Godox iT30. Otherwise, it's great. So if the Viltrox Spark could solve that problem, if it could have a bit more better stamina, then it would be the perfect compact flash. And also it is very cheap, around $50, $40 or $50 at least here in Sweden, which is very cheap for a flash. They did try to save some money, I think, by, for example, not having a display on the flash. You just have these manual controls. You have one wheel to adjust the strength of the flash in manual mode, and then you have one wheel to turn it off and switch between manual and TTL mode, and then you have another one with S1 and S2 modes, which are related to wireless sync. Anyway, for me personally, I prefer it like this. I don't want a display. I just want the simplest possible way to change the strength and to shoot in manual mode. And for that, this is the perfect interface. You just have this wheel and you just turn it when you want to adjust the strength of the flash. I love that. The Godox iT30 Pro is very lightweight at 120 grams, but the Viltrox Spark is almost as lightweight. It's around 140 grams, so still it weighs pretty much nothing. The size is similar. Of course, the Viltrox is a little bit bigger, but when it comes to height, it's almost the same. It's not a big difference. I got the Viltrox in a color called Gunmetal Gray, and I think it looks nice, and I really love how you have this transparent part here where you can look into the flash. I really like that they're trying something new here. This aesthetic was popular in the 90s, and I'm happy to see some companies try to bring it back. I'm very happy to see a new flash that has a similar form factor to the old Micael MK320. That was for a long time my favorite macro photography flash. It was super cheap, but it did have some problems. It wasn't that consistent between exposures, so some of them could be a bit brighter and some of them a bit darker, and also it had problems with bugs, and yeah, it was not a polished product. The Viltrox Spark has a built-in battery just like the Godox iT30. You charge it via USB-C, And for my tests that I'm about to show you, I of course had charged both flashes completely full just a few moments before I did the tests. The Viltrox Spark comes for a few different camera systems, but unfortunately it does not seem to come for OM system. I'm not sure why, but that is a little bit disappointing. So I got mine for Sony. The flash feels a little bit plasticky, but doesn't bother me too much. Otherwise it feels like it won't break easily. It feels pretty well built. So my main question about the Viltrox Spark was, is it more powerful? Does it have more stamina than the Godox iT30? In that case, it's pretty much a done deal. Then it is a better product, I think, than the Godox iT30 because the form factor is very similar and the Viltrox is cheaper. So I tried to see if that was the case by doing a simple test. I had this very small coin. I had my Laowa 85mm. And I set it at f8, I used ISO 200, and then I put the Godox flash in 1/4 in strength and 1/250th in shutter speed, and I took photos of this coin. I took many photos until I started to see black frames, which appeared pretty soon. And then I switched flash to the Viltrox Spark, and I did exactly the same thing, same settings. And first of all, I noticed that they are pretty much the same light output. So at the same strength setting, 1/4 on the Viltrox, the images I got with my very simple diffuser here that I held in my hand they were exactly the same brightness. So that way I knew that I can shoot both at 1/4 and get the same results. Then I should be able to compare them at 1/4 to see like real world comparison in results. And what I saw was that I could take so many photos with the Viltrox Spark in succession without any black frames or any problems. I had taken over 200 photos when I gave up, which is 4 times as many as I took with the Godox, and not a single black frame. And I took these photos pretty quickly, and the reason I stopped was that the flash got pretty warm, so I didn't want to like hurt it some way or degrade the light bulb. So I just stopped there and concluded that the Viltrox Spark performs a lot better than the Godox iT30. So if you're trying to decide between these two, definitely I would recommend the Viltrox Spark. The photos look very consistent in between shots. As you can see here, no difference at all in how bright or how dark the exposures were. They look exactly the same. So yeah, I think that's it for this video. Basically, if you want a cheap, super compact macro photography flash, then the Viltrox Spark is a very interesting option and my favorite option from now on.